Hey, Tom Rabbit! I hope you got this for your recording. Hey, YouTube out there. Tom Rabbit likes to record these. Hey, Tom Rabbit!
Art, Jefferson Spatchcock is just reviewing your debate with PC Myers. I sent you the link. Private.
That's like a homeless meth addict watching brain surgery. Yeah, he's an idiot and a troll. I remember when I dialogued with him on, it might have been 2 occasions, but at least one in particular with him and his brother, and they're just obfuscational trolls. They just gaslight. They're contrarians. That's all they do. Maybe you should invite him to come and challenge me on my interaction with PC Myers.
Okay, I can do that. I see if I can go there, and I invite him to come here right now. Give me a couple of minutes, okay? Did you not remove him or ban him from here?
Just for a second.
Ask me some softball questions in an AMA, and then feed me to this rhetorical fundamentalist dipshit that you had sitting over here frothing in the corner, tied up on a chain.
You hear that? I'm frothing at the corner, tied up.
That's the reason why this doesn't work, Darth. That's the reason Canadian Catholic is keeping you stiff-armed away from the AAA talent that they occasionally get into these things. Because you're an embarrassment. They let you out because you're a lulls cow, and they let you tease on some of the A-listers. They get to like bat at you for a little bit, and when they start sounding pissed, they offer them a ripcord to get the fuck out of there before they abandon not only you, but the channel that hosted them. That's the point.
Can I mention something?
You dipshit.
This goes back to questioning people's foundational beliefs that they hold, to be completely immune from investigation. Is that you're a lulls cow when that happens? You're subversive.
Yeah. What do you think? Should I join it? Should I try to join his stream?
Go ahead, try.
All right. Let's see what happens. Okay. Could you post the link so everybody could see it? Okay.
Yeah. Just a minute. I put it here in the public.
All right. I'm going to mute my mic.
There's no way he's going to get in. He doesn't want to have a direct conversation.
A few moments later.
If he got to talk to PZ Myers for the better part of 4 minutes,
I'm backstage,
and it inspired PZ Myers to write an entire blog post about that kind of interaction, and it was the result of him having done an AMA on that same Discord channel for who knows how much time, right? He might have been on for an hour, 2 hours, I don't know. But it seems like, to me, if he was on there for an hour and a half, 2 hours doing an, and then the 3 to 4 minutes that he talks to Darth Dawkins is the inspiration for that particular blog post, that's a good reason for someone like Canadian Catholic to yank on your fucking leash to get that person to maybe come back, because that person's not going to talk to you again. If they
wouldn't want any hard questions,
debates or appearances, discussions, panels, roundtables, whatever, they're not going to be able to do that if that person thinks that the only reason they're being asked to come back is to get fed to you down in their basement.
Yeah, he's conceding that the guest needs to be coddled.
That's the reason why Canadian Catholic's doing that shit. And the fact that he's not telling you that overtly is because he's trying to not damage your ego too much. The reason for this is that you are simply put a lulls cow. You are being used because you attract a lot of attention because you cause traffic accidents. You cause pileups on train railways and bus stations and blow up airplanes and shit. You just make messes. It attracts a lot of attention and attracts a lot of views. It's the reason why I review your shit half the time. Most that, and because I know that any reviews of your stuff you take personally, and I take it personally too. So, but anyway, so hang on a second. Somebody's been asking me if he wants to come in here. Yeah, no, I just let Otangelo know. Like, if Darth would like to set up a discussion with me about any of these kinds of issues, let's schedule something to have a talk. But usually if I'm trying to do one of these kinds of things, if he just wants to show up and just kind of derail it, I know what he's going to do. He's going to come in here and try to run an interrogation script on me. and that's going to derail me from making the points that I was making about the video that I'm trying to focus on. So I'm going to wrap this thing up, and I think this is actually done here. Oh, it looks like he actually is here. All right. Hello, Darth. Would you like to schedule a time to have a conversation? I got to wrap this up right quick.
I'm here right now. Do you want to make any of your most important objections to me?
Well, it depends on the video that we're talking about, but if you'd like to have a discussion about something a little bit more pointed, let's maybe try to do that at a better time. What's a good time?
Whatever first and foremost, what's your major objection with the views that I present?
All right. How long do you want to be here?
I've got about another, I would say, hour,
okay.
An hour and a half.
Okay, Joe. Well, it's not going to take that long because I've already been on longer than I wanted to be. So
I did not listen. I was just informed that you were critiquing me again. I only heard a little bit of it. I really didn't hear anything of a substantive critique. Just vague generalizations of derision. So, what's your most important fundamental objection to my apologetic or my?
I think it's the part that starts off by asking someone if they deny referencing God as the ultimate foundation for facts. I don't think that follows, given that in your worldview, and maybe you can clear this up, I think in your worldview, you acknowledge that God is the necessary prerequisite for all facts, right?
Well, I usually don't ask the denial. I usually ask the question in the affirmative. I ask, do you believe that it is necessary to reference God as the necessary precondition of all facts? That's generally what I start off with.
Do you think that that's important, the way it gets put?
The question is designed to be precise, having dealt with hundreds, if not thousands, of atheists.
Okay, but why would it matter if a person references God when referencing a fact if the fact already references God?
The reason why I asked the question is because the last generation or so of atheists are essentially waving the white flag by not trying to represent what they really believe, and that is the falsity of God. So they hide behind laxism or I don't know-ism. So when I ask this question, it shines the spotlight that they're really not neutral toward God, although they claim neutrality toward God. So they either positively believe that it's necessary to reference the necessity of God as the precondition of all facts, or they do not positively believe that. And then once they truthfully answer that question, I showcase what its logical entailment is, which makes them very uncomfortable.
But that's not a logical entailment.
What's not a logical entailment?
Just because someone doesn't reference God as the necessary precondition of facts doesn't mean, it doesn't follow that the necessary precondition of those facts isn't God.
Could you repeat that again?
Just because an individual doesn't reference God when referencing facts doesn't follow that those facts themselves don't reference God as the necessary foundation for those facts.
It does follow, and I'll explain to you why, okay? If somebody positively does not believe that it's necessary to reference God as the necessary precondition, then they believe that it's not necessary to reference God as the necessary precondition. If one consequently believes that it's not necessary to reference God as the precondition of all facts, then it necessarily entails that they believe in the independence of facts from God. Okay?
How do you follow? How does that follow?
If you believe it's not necessary to reference God as the precondition of all facts, that's another way of expressing that facts are independent of God.
Okay, so are you saying that people can only know things that are true?
I don't know where that question came from. What I'm saying to that is if
can a person's epistemology be incorrect even though the ontology is correct?
Well, epistemology is reciprocal with ontology. They both need each other. But
Sure, but my
if a person-
epistemology is
okay,
not all.
all right,
It's not.
I know, but you're not focusing on the point here. Okay. If somebody positively believes it is not necessary to reference God as the precondition of both those facts, that is the same proposition, but stated differently, that they believe that facts exist independently of God. Different statements, same proposition.
So what?
Do you understand? Do you
But that's-
understand?
If their epistemology is stating that facts,
We're not talking about epistemology right now. Okay.
What are you talking about then?
We're talking about ontology.
But their ontology isn't dependent on a single observer's
Okay.
epistemology.
We're not discussing epistemology right now. We're discussing ontology. Okay.
We're actually discussing both. What point are you trying to make?
Okay. Do you understand that a proposition can be expressed in different statements? That a proposition is a truth bearer?
I think so. Yeah. What do you mean?
Okay. So when somebody utters the statement that they believe it's not necessary to reference God as the necessary precondition of facts, that statement possesses the same proposition as the statement that they believe in the independence of facts from God.
Right.
Same proposition, different statement.
Sure.
Now, if somebody positively believes in the independence of facts from God, then God being defined as the necessary precondition of all facts, then that God cannot logically coexist in a world where one or more facts exist independently of God.
That doesn't make sense.
No, that necessarily follows.
It does not necessarily follow. One is
No, God,
one is
okay.
one is hang on. One is the extent of that person's knowledge, and the other is the extent of all knowledge that is possible. And those
We're
are
not
two
talking. We're not talking about their knowledge. We're talking about necessary entailment.
How so? What you're saying is the only way they can make a statement about something they claim to know is if that thing is true.
No. Well, right now at this juncture, what we're talking about not what they know or what they comprehend. What we're talking at this juncture is what is necessary entailment. Okay. Now,
Right, but
if God,
how is there
let me finish.
you haven't been
I'm
hang
trying.
on. No, hang on. If you want to say that there's a necessary entailment, you need to bridge the gap between the ontology and the epistemology. It's possible for a person to have a mistaken epistemology and the
Listen
ontology
carefully.
to be intact.
Right now, okay? When we talk about God, the question is designed to define God as the necessary precondition of all facts, definitionally.
You
Okay?
can't. You're not defining it, though. You can't define it.
Okay. When I define God,
you can't
okay,
define God as that. God must be that, right? If you define it, you're
No,
relying on your
okay.
reason to do so.
No, you're not understanding. Okay.
You're not understanding.
People
you can't
have
define
people
God
have,
that way
okay,
using
okay,
your
listen,
reason.
I'm not going to waste my time if you're just going to keep on cutting me off and being belligerent and
You
argumentative.
came into my
okay?
channel. If you'd
Now,
like to leave, you
I
can leave
did.
at
I
any
did
time.
come into your channel. I did. Yeah, I can leave at any time, and I told you that I will if you're going to not stop cutting me off. Okay. So right now you're simply being argumentative. I don't mind if you disagree with me, but I do mind that you're argumentative and you keep cutting me off in mid-sentence.
We're going to be argumentative because this is kind of an argumentative topic.
Okay. Well, I've dealt with you before, you and your brother, and that's your go-to form of gaslighting. Okay, is to be.
You say that about every
argumentative.
atheist that you've ever dealt with. So.
Okay. Well, this is not every atheist, but the vast majority of atheists do. How shall I say? Go to the little tote bag of tricks to be argumentative or gaslighting.
Okay.
So
here's something I want to do. Here's something I want to do right now, and I want to point this out right now because you're starting to do it right now. I want you to focus on the ideas that we're discussing. If I have to hear, hang on. If I have to hear about how you feel you're being treated, or how you think that you're being misguided, or how any of your thoughts and feelings about yourself and your own representation on the channel, I want you to discard that snowflake bullshit. If you continue to waste time talking about how you feel about things, I'm going to kick you. I want you to pay
I'm
attention to the
not
ideas
talking
that we're
about
talking
how I
rhetorically.
feel. I'm talking about how you're actually conducting yourself. Number two,
No, I don't want to do
being
no
a
because that's
snowflake.
based.
Okay,
That's
listen,
based on
I'm
your.
going to give
That's
you one
based
more
on what
chance.
you're
give you one
you're
more
getting
chance. If you want to do this shtick, okay, I'll go elsewhere. I won't waste my time with your idiocy. This is what you have done before. You have a prior history of doing. Is you try to launch. You try to go down semi-related circuitous rabbit trails. Now, what we're discussing is the
do I have that? I
necessary
don't think I actually
entailment.
have that
Okay,
history.
last chance. Okay, I'm not going
My
to waste my
last chance.
time.
Is it my last chance or is it your last chance?
Okay.
You
Have a
can
nice
leave.
day.
You can leave. All right, he's gone. Yeah, if he wants to have a discussion with me, Darth, if you want to do this, set up a discussion time at some point else. Don't come on here and try to interrogate me and then hijack my own video in order to run your shtick on me. If you want to do something where we have an actual discussion, let me know. You've got my email, jeffersonspatchcock@gmail.com. Send me an email or ask Otangela to. I will talk to both of you if you would like to discuss any of these issues with you.
Meanwhile, at the Legion of Doom.
See, this is what they do is they start gaslighting. They become argumentative, they belligerent, they try to go down semi-related rabbit trails. Okay. Because Jefferson Spatchcock is lacking intellectually, he's inept in this area. His go-to, trick out of his atheist tote bag is just simply to be argumentative and just go down. Notice how many times in the short time that I was there, how he tried to introduce semi-related rabbit trails rather than focusing on what I was saying. Okay?
He denies the necessary entailment, and then he refuses to let you expand upon it.
The guy's an imbecile.
If that was
right?
If that was the case, he's denying in that instance that God has revealed his character in that way.
Wasn't that what Giberos made with Robin when Robin defined God, and he immediately said, "Oh, I don't accept this." Well, that's not the problem.
Look. This is because Spatchcock. I think he has a misconception of his own intellectual capability, but because he's lacking and he knows that to a certain degree, he has to resort to this rabbit trailing, and that's what he was doing. Okay, I wasn't saying anything controversial. Let me just say this. Let me just say this. Hey, look, the guy's a waste of time. He's an idiot. Okay, what he was doing was another form of atheist gaslighting. By the way, did you get that Tom Rabbit?